Hey, this is Joel Oni at the J Money Studio in the heart of the Buckeye State. And I want to personally welcome you to today's episode of the Steel Kings podcast with my good friends Jared Ledford and Eric Olson, better known to you as the Steel Kings. Be sure to check out jmoneyllc.com for financing solutions for your buildings. And now, let's get back to the Steel Kings podcast.
What's up, guys? It's the Steel Kings podcast back with another episode. How is it going today? We obviously got Eric and Jared. We are the Steel Kings. Let me give you guys a quick shout out. J Money will help you out with all of your contracting needs. If you are a shed dealer, a metal building dealer, they will get you the financing you need to help close deals. Contact the team over at J Money. Eric, my brother, you are live on a build site. What's going on, man? Tell everybody what you're up to today.
I'm coming to you live from a little town called Mount Ida, Arkansas. It is across where we're at is a company called Ruth's Boat Storage.
Okay.
We're all about free plugs.
Yeah.
In the outside chance that someone's in the area and you need to park your boat, this place is good. There's a ton of, and in all honesty, this place reminds me of just West Virginia. It's just friendly people, lots of fishing, lots of boating. But yeah, I'm out here in Mount Ida. We're putting up, like right behind me, you can see that's a 35 by, I think 60, 35 by 70 maybe,
Okay.
with 5 units, all 14 feet wide, or 16 feet. I can't. That one was the goofy one. We had to move a telephone line to get that one up. The other ones are doing great. Those ones are already up.
Nice.
We'll send out some videos about that to you. But
Yeah.
it's on site here to see this last thing go up. So, yeah.
So this is something that we
Super thankful to be
sold
there.
three different buildings with one of our partners out of Texas, Reliable Metal Buildings. And the guys over there were more than courteous to help us get this big job taken care of. So quick shout out to the guys over there as well. Bro, I think today, with you being on site, we need to talk about site visits. I think that is an important part of this formula that we are working together, right? So obviously, everybody knows we sell steel buildings nationwide. We sell wood sheds in the Mid-Atlantic and Midwest. But one thing that we do, I think that's a little bit above average, is we go do site visits. Eric, talk to us a little bit about that, man. We were talking offline. There's a when you should and when you shouldn't do a site visit, right?
There is. I don't know. It's gray. It's got to be gray. There's some gray. I think I think that if you're a metal building seller out there and you're trying to figure out when the appropriate time to go do a site visit, you've got local and far away. Like obviously, I'm 700 miles from Dayton. Well, the guy we had such a good relationship building up to the projects, that just offering to come out here would sweeten the pot. And so we came out here to do the deal originally. And then I just told him I'd be on site to at least be out here to make sure everything was going smooth, which it is. And having boots on the ground means something, and because it separates you from other sellers. Now, one thing I will say, and then we'll jump into the back and forth. The tendency for metal building sellers is that you can sell a 30 by 50 and you don't need to do many site visits. There's not a ton of site visit requirement, in my opinion, from a sales perspective, unless the building is like larger than normal or it's a goofy situation. And so, and I think the closer you get to where you live, the more likely you should just take every site visit, honestly. But like in this
Yeah.
example where we needed to rope stuff up, we needed to measure stuff off with a measuring roller. And so coming out here and to be truthful, to close this deal up, we had to come out here because when we measured, it actually changed the project. We knew they wanted 18 or 19 slots, like right here. They wanted a specific amount of these, and so when we came out here, there's like a goofy intersection on the fence where and then there's some real estate of land that, like, by the time you get to the end of the fork, like you could gain 10 feet, but you'd have to split the building in two. So instead of going with two buildings, we went with three. We split the last one
Gotcha.
at an angle, and you could see the angle between those two buildings there. If
Yeah.
we would have ran them together, which would have been fine, there you would have lost some space, and so
Yeah.
that matters to them, I believe, because and as we'll okay. Can you see me?
Yeah, you're lagging a little bit on us, brother, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna pick up a little bit while Eric gets connected here. I can tell you, so to jump off what Eric is saying, when it comes down to site visits, this is a project that was several $100,000, and it took a lot of time, not just to get the customer comfortable with what we wanted to do, but it also was getting us to a point where um, the customer felt like it was right to pull the trigger with us, right? So we needed to be comfortable with the project, but we also needed the customer to feel comfortable too. So I think for us, man, it really comes down to when the right time to pull the trigger with a site visit is the time that the customer is ready to pull the trigger. I don't know that we do site visits for customers in a preliminary phase of the build process. So when a customer comes to us and is looking to get a metal building quote, our first line is not going to be, how can we come out and see your site? A lot of that's done through investigation and discovery. We'll ask the right questions, we'll probe, and go from there. Um, but this particular project here was one that came to us from a Facebook Marketplace post. For those guys that are out there working metal building leads, um, Facebook Marketplace is a good place to find big deals, especially if you're willing to do the footwork to get there in the first place. I am working with Eric now to get him back into the call with us. It looks like he is coming back here. So I will tell you guys, it's been an awesome process. Like,
I'm back
here's
in
Eric
here.
right here. So yeah, it's one of those things, guys, where at the end of the day, finding that project that makes the most sense for a site visit, like this one here, that's huge projects. I mean, you can see the size of these buildings. These are all commercial units. These are all going to be a big investment for a customer. And, it's always a gamble from a dealer side to take a down payment or be on the hook for buildings this size without being fully invested in the process. So if you're making a percentage on a deal, you might want to take a couple points off that deal and invest in a site visit. So, bro, you cut out there a little bit on us, but I kept them going. I prepped them. I was talking about site visits, when to do them. I basically said we don't start the process of selling a building with a site visit, right? It's something that's learned through investigation and discovery. And I want you to finish your thought, because I thought you had a pretty good point on this, bro.
This is the Shed Geek, and I'm here to endorse one of my favorite products, VersaBend from Cold Spring Enterprises. If you are in the carport or metal building business or have been looking to expand into that field, then VersaBend Tube Bender is a must-have. At VersaBend, we thank you for your interest in our tube bender. The VersaBend is designed to bend 2-inch, 2¼ inch, and 2½ inch square tubing, as well as the 2x3 rectangular tubing in either 12 gauge or 14 gauge. Powered by a robust 5 horsepower unit, it features 2 adjustable stops for setting your desired degree or pitch. Priced at just $19,500 FOB from Abbeville, South Carolina, you can secure your VersaBend with a down payment of only $1,500. Contact us to check availability and get placed on our order list. VersaBend is a family-owned business dedicated to providing an easy-to-operate bender made with off-the-shelf components. A unique feature of our bender is that it offers a full radius bend, unlike the double crushed bends produced by most other machines. Want to see it in action? Visit our website at www.csecarport.supply or give us a call at 864-446-3600. 3645.
You know, and the guy gave us the green light before. You know, basically they're buying the projects no matter what. But the fact that we came out here and split that first building into two, it just justified it because now they know they've met us. So now there's like face to face contact, which I think matters because especially somebody like this or a farmer where there's a possibility for multiple buildings in the future, you just got to get out. You know, you just got to go shake their hand because you know no one else is going to care that much. And so while you're on site, you can already start planting seeds for like the second and third time that we're going to come out here because really these three buildings is only a third of the property. And so and I could just tell by the way he's got them, it's 6 out of the 11 current spots are taken with padlocks and they've only been here for a month. So I can already tell without even seeing them yet this week that as soon as this one goes up and they're green on all their doors, like it won't be very long before they, you know, and I'll gladly come out here another time to measure off. And so it's a steady to me it's a different customer flow conversation because we're really at the speed of them.
Yeah.
But you can still do your 30 by 40 quotes in between. Like I went back to the hotel, I was talking to some farmers in Nebraska, driving out to Washington, and I think we've got some live episodes we'll be doing on the way there too, and you can see what's going on back here now.
Yeah, bro. I think it's
It's a
important to know.
telehandler. Most people don't know what that is, but that's what that is.
So for those dealers who are new or might not know, we've got a 4K telehandler moving right behind Eric right now. So that is your 4K lull lift that we've got there. But I can tell you, man, I see the value in going to the job site, not just from a dealer perspective. Why would I do this? So we did a site visit prior to installation, and we're now doing a follow-up site visit to see the finished product, get pictures, get things for website development, things like that. But I think there's a huge benefit in doing both. So this was a big enough project, obviously, it justified all of this. If you're selling a 24 by 32 car garage, probably not worth getting out there a second time. But the thing that I've really enjoyed about going to site visits for installs is you get to know install crews, you get to see the process from start to finish, you get to see them do a framed opening. I mean, some of that stuff is just valuable to know. And I think, this is one of the bigger projects that we've done and actually been on site for. So it's exciting for us. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Exactly.
Tell-
Exactly.
tell me a little bit, Eric, about the sales journey with these guys. I know one of our project managers, one of our senior guys, Chris, was working with the customer, and I think you came in and kind of just greased up, right? Put on a little bit of the I know more than you, and speaking from a place of an authority. How were we able to close this deal? I think that's one thing I'd like to share too, as we share the buildings with everybody.
I think this industry is filled with lack of delayed gratification from a sales perspective. People aren't willing to go the mile that it takes. We got this guy quoted. We knew who the company was. We had solid pricing, and I think right off the grip, Chris chatted with them over the phone, and they got along on a lot of and we'll have Chris on here one day maybe, but Chris's personality is absolutely exceptional if you're just having like a back and forth convo about any topic. So the guy not only is super knowledgeable of metal buildings, but he worked these guys like he's their friend. That's how he just talks to everybody. And so
Yeah.
I think that got him interested to the point where we qualified the company. Like we did some Google Earthing and looking, kind of, okay, they do have this big open property. We knew they was telling the truth because they had a number they was trying to meet. And then once it got to be a little closer to the front, that's when Chris patched me in. So another sales tip too is if you're just a one-man show, this wouldn't apply to you. But a lot of times, to sweeten the deal, you got to go to a level above you. So Chris utilized me, the traveler of the crew, to jump
Yeah,
on and really honestly give the fellas a different layer of it.
sure.
And so
Yeah.
like, sometimes when customers get access to the owner or a manager, they that honestly, that I don't know what it is. It's just the level. Like, when the manager comes out to see how your food is and it's good, you're like, man, server's doing great. You just start stroking somebody's ego. They're like, so now all of a sudden they love Chris and they're telling me about Chris. And I said, well, man, I'm bought in. We'll just come out there when the time is right. We did not pressure these guys. So we knew inevitably when you get somebody fish on, we're not talking about catching an easy fish here. We're talking about a reel of like an hour or so on a big grouper. You got to just
Yeah.
not wear yourself out at the beginning. So I think it just as it got closer, you felt like it was getting closer, and then they said, all right, if you guys can be here next Thursday, we've got a. We closed the deal in hand, shook his hand, picked up the check. I think we were here for an hour, so it was a 20-hour round trip for a larger check, and then took Chris out to dinner and then call it, knowing that Chris can get back to work and I'll handle the projects. And that's kind of how I feel is decent, and why if you've got multiple people involved, man, like somebody should care about this type of stuff. Like this
Yeah.
type of stuff, meaning like site visits, like Otter projects,
I think it's super important, and we do this a lot as a team, right? We we work in tandem. So we have, we obviously have guys in our office that sell metal buildings and wood sheds, and that's all they
snafu.
do all the time. That's all they do all the time, bro, is they sell metal buildings and wood sheds. And what we do is we have these guys tee up the customers. If we get a customer that is on the fence or kind of just lying in the weeds a little bit, we might call them and give them a touch and say, "Hey, this is Jared with the finance team," or "Hey, this is Jared with the admin team. Just looking at a deal here. Looks like we've sent you over some docs or sent you over a payment link. Haven't gotten that taken care of yet." I can't tell you how valuable it is to be working in tandem with someone, because like when Eric and I started this, right? And Eric's had a couple of different guys that he's worked with over the years, but he and I have gotten to the point where we're like brothers. We're in sync most of the time. Bro, we'll bounce deals off of each other. I mean, we both are owners now, but at this point, it's like if Eric's selling a deal, he may or may not go into the ownership spiel. He might bring me in and say, "Hey, I'm going to get one of the owners on with you." Because I almost never do that. I never tell a customer I know anything. I always lean on Eric for that, because Eric has the mojo to get the deal across the line. And I think having that second hand to really come in and not just qualify you, but also qualify what the customer is doing and what you've done for the customer is super important. So I think that's a super good point, Eric, for sure.
Yeah, the layers.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
and I
Eric's internet is struggling today, everybody. So I can tell you, this is one where, so I just want to say this from a Dayton Barnes perspective on this particular deal. I don't think that we would have been able to close this deal without doing the site visits, right? And I think that it is super important that you don't leave low-hanging fruit to be picked by somebody else. I think a lot of times what we end up doing is we run into situations where we'll get a lead, we feel really good about it, and we're working with that customer on and off for, let's just say it's a couple of weeks or a month, and then all of a sudden, that runs dry, and our communication with the customer all of a sudden is not where it once was, right? So for us as a team, we have to not only be touching that customer on a regular basis, but also going back and making sure that they're not using the information that we give them to buy from somebody else. I think that's a lot of times what the strongest dealers are doing is they are giving information to customers to then go buy from somebody else. And I tell the guys here in the shop all the time, the guys and gals, it's not that a customer is going to buy a building from me specifically at Dayton Barnes. They're buying the building from me specifically. I'm going to buy a building from Jared, or I'm going to buy a building from Landon, or Gracie, or Thad, or Bryce, or Caleb, or Chris, or Corey, or whoever that might be. we specifically work with our customers and tailor the experience to really be buyer specific to the rep that they're working with. And I think that it is really, really important that if you are selling wood sheds, if you're selling metal buildings, if you're selling any product whatsoever, you're not just selling the product, you're selling yourself at the same time. I think that that is something that we do so well here at Dayton Barnes that frankly others are not doing quite as well. And that's just my opinion. And I think that you have to love the product you're selling. We love metal buildings and wood sheds. We love pole barns. We love everything that we're dealing with every day because it makes the job easier. When you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Are your shed sales down? Maybe you heard the latest news. Shed Geek and Shed Hub are now working together for the benefit of the shed industry. That's right, Shed Geek is now a managing partner for Shed Hub. One thing we want to instill immediately is your confidence in this service. The Shed Geek and Shed Hub collaborative effort means you will get the same trusted visibility from the awesome SEO efforts already created by the Shed Hub team, while resting in the fact that Shed Geek will be streamlining the seller interface, website, and overall simplicity of the service. Shed Hub has already done the work to ensure that we are the most visible shed shopping website. And here are the analytics to prove that. During the month of March 2025, Shed Hub had over 2 million impressions and over 41,000 clicks from search. This means someone is on the Shed Hub site every 60 seconds shopping for a shed. Why not have your sheds visible for just $39 per month? You can get signed up today by going to www.getshedhub.com. Once you sign up, a customer representative will reach out within 1 to 2 business days to ensure that you are onboarded and understand the program completely. Don't wait. Sell more sheds today using shedhub.com by going to www.getshedhub.com.
Looks like we got you back, Eric, brother. You are down in the sticks of Arkansas. I can tell you that right now. We prepped this just so everybody knows. Peek behind the curtain. I was on the phone with Eric this morning. No issues.
Doing good.
We did probably 5 minutes. We did probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes before we started recording, and he was crystal clear on my side. And I know we were having a little bit of technical difficulty, but I can tell you, man. I mean, I like coming at you guys from a real perspective. We're buttoned up and polished, but this is as real as it gets. This is gritty. You know, Eric is literally on the job site on his phone, and we wanted to jump on a podcast and share it with you guys and give you some tips. Like, site visits are that important. You know, one thing I said while you were offline, Eric, is low hanging fruit. Like, this is one where Chris did a lot of legwork. Chris did everything to get the customer ready to buy. And if we wouldn't have done the site visit, we would have teed this up for somebody else to come and grab our low hanging fruit. I truly believe that. They were going to buy buildings regardless, but they had decided that they were going to buy from Chris at Dayton Barnes. And we needed to figure out a way to make that happen and facilitate that deal. Do you feel the same way, Eric?
Yeah, they also, and we're a seller for Carolina Carports too, and they got some original buildings from Carolina Carports. So I knew if we could get them to commit, um, they were, and nothing against Carolina Carports, they just didn't have a rep. They bought it direct, and so they didn't have a person caring about it like Chris. So like that is a huge reason to work with a dealer, because you're going to get somebody to advocate for you. And in an example like this, how many times, let's say 20 reps or 20 people post a marketplace post in Hot Springs, and let's say this guy that bought these buildings messages 7 of them. Like, out of those 7, how many people actually live in Hot Springs? That's the reps, probably 0. And just banking on that, how many of those 7 will actually come to Hot Springs to even like talk to the guy? And so right off the bat, like it's different because that we're all, we're all using the same back and forth. It's regional or national or whatever. And so when you use somebody like us, we decided to use somebody that doesn't even cover this state on a normal basis. Well, and that's another leverage point of being a dealer is that when you start making friends, man, you've got people that will go above and beyond to go install projects for you. So I think it was like a culmination of like knowledge, experience, site visit, the kosherness of like the relationship right off the bat from Chris's
Yeah.
perspective. And when you meet him, guys, who we're talking about, he is this super hyper intellectual educated guy that like knows a million things about everything. You know, probably not a master at anything, but definitely can be in any combo. any
Right.
any
Yeah.
combo about anything. I mean, you name it. So he's a great that was what I think reeled him in. The price obviously mattered, but the site visit was absolutely the cherry. And so, I mean, here I am. I'm on
And
their
I think,
property caring about
you
their,
know,
and they're not even here. They're not even here, and I'm here.
and let me say this. Let me trickle back a little bit to the manufacturing talk. So we obviously have, I would say, an above average relationship with most of the manufacturers that we deal with on a normal basis, because most of the manufacturers we deal with at this point are seeing 20 plus orders from us in a year minimum. We might have one-offs here or there that we have to filter in. But like this specific deal, the customer wanted to go a different direction. We needed to do something that was a little bit outside the box. And they knew from what they had been told directly by the manufacturer in question that they were not going to be able to get that need met from the previous person who sold them the buildings. And they were doing market research or doing due diligence and found Dayton Barnes. And we were able to give them exactly what they needed. They sourced a problem and we gave them the solution for that problem. And a lot of times you have to think about that from a sales perspective. These customers have a problem. Maybe it's their lawnmower is in the garage. Maybe it's the trash cans are in their garage. Never know what it is, why they need a metal building, a wood shed, a pole barn, whatever it is. Our job's to, through discovery and investigation, find out what the problem is that we can provide a solution for. And you have to make the customer urgently trying to get that resolved. And I think if you can meet that need and you find out what they need and you go at it head on, that's how you're going to close deals. Eric does that all the time. You know, what are you using the building for? When do you need it by? You know, those are probably Eric's two of his first couple of questions, honestly. Like, what are you doing? When do you need it? Right? I mean, I think I'm on the money with that, right, bro?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
I
size
mean,
door do you want to put on the side? Like, no.
yeah.
When and
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, that's exactly right. If you can
Yeah.
determine, you have to get the customer on the hook
Yeah.
first before you actually start the sales process. You have to get
Yeah.
them to know that you're bought into the when and the what. Because if you're bought into the when and the what, then how we go about getting that boat stored, how we go about getting that storage unit constructed, how we go about whatever it is we're getting ready to do for you, we understand it. If I lead with, okay, can I get a metal building quote? Sure. Happy to help. What's your zip code? Boom. Got a zip code. Okay. What size were you thinking? Boom. From there, you should really be jumping into the when and the what. Because from that point forward, you can really help that customer visualize what you're getting ready to sell them. Okay. So I've got your 30 by 40 here. I've got the two 10-10 indoors that are just standard on most of our 30-40. You need something different, let me know. But I'm thinking, let's put another 10 by 10 on the opposite side. So when you go through with your boat and your trailer, you can just pull through directly in and out. How's that sound? You already know what they're doing and you can start to help them visualize
it.
that building on that spot. And that is, I mean, that is paramount to the success of selling anything building and storage related. And I learned that from Eric. I mean, I can tell you right now that those are all Eric's points. And that's why, honestly, why we sell as many buildings as we do, to be fair, because that's the way we work. We work for our customers. Bro, tell me a little bit more before we wrap up. We're gonna make this a shorter one today because obviously we're still having a little bit of internet issues. And
Yep.
tell me a little bit about where you're going from here, Eric. Where's this customer
We've got
process going? But
we've got this building here, which will be finished by, I'm gonna assume, the end of the day tomorrow. So time reference wise, it's the 24th of April. Probably the 25th is the finishing touches. Once that's done and completed, we'll wait for them to catch up with the sales of the remaining doors that are available. And then once they get a solid month or two, I'll probably come back out here to quickly measure the second part of the property, which you'll see. I'll while we're giving this episode, we'll be uploading some videos of the buildings that we're putting up here, so you guys can see where I'm actually standing. And then
Nice.
we'll just really honestly go from there. We wanted to do a quick give back to the customer to help them. They've got great road view, so we'll give you a picture of it. And this is where something of the above extra mile comes in. And we're gonna essentially build them at least a QR code with a landing page, just as a free gift to them, as like rent me, scan me, basically, and they'll print the thing and hang it wherever they want. But that was a marketing tool that you and I have used, so we're going to use that with them, and I'm going to meet with them about that tomorrow, and then basically from here it's flying home tomorrow, and then we're getting back after it Friday.
Awesome. Awesome, bro. So you're going to
Maybe
be
not
out and
here, but
about. Yeah, you're gonna be out and about, not in Hot Springs, but you're gonna be out and about. As always, we like to finish up the episode with some call to actions and things like that. Eric, do you have anything for us heading into this next week? We're gonna launch this episode
just
probably first week of June.
tune in to the next couple episodes, because probably three, at least maybe a half a dozen, well, maybe 3, 4, or 5, one of those numbers. We'll be doing a site visit. So something that's coming up that you guys don't want to miss is a recovery ministry called Good Shepherd in downtown Dayton. We're going to do a huge ribbon cutting. Like news is showing up, probably the police, fire department, for a project we're doing on Xenia Avenue. So we'll be doing a live. You actually probably be here for that, and we'll have Sean Trapp on, and man, just a good partner of ours, somebody we give back to in the community. So that one's coming up, and then we will be traveling out west, and there will be some live episodes being recorded from out there. And so don't miss those.
Yeah, bro. I think we're super excited to bring some. I know this is kind of cliche, but we're excited to bring excitement out to the industry. We want to show what people can
Yeah.
do at a little bit higher level if they put their mind to it and grind. So we've been doing this for quite a while now. This is our full-time gig, both of us. We're in it to win it with pole barns, metal buildings, backyard sheds. I will tell you guys, as always, my call to
pole
action.
barns.
Yeah. We're gonna bring some pole barn stuff your guys' way. It's gonna be an exciting few months as we get through the busy season, the busy sales season. I'm gonna leave you guys with this, as always. Get out in your community and do something for someone else. Whether it's, just whatever. Do something for somebody else. Be a good neighbor, be a good friend, be a good citizen. Take care of your family and your friends, and just get out in your community, because I'm telling you, every community needs good citizens right now. Um, I will tell you this as we close
Agreed.
up. The guys over at J Money, I just talked to Joel this morning. What a great guy. What a great friend he's been to the Steel Kings. What a great friend he's been to Dayton Barnes over the years. He is a friend to so many in our industry, sheds and metal buildings, et cetera, et cetera. This is a guy who goes out of his way to make deals happen for his customers. And I cannot thank him enough as I close out this episode of our podcast. It makes me a little bit, a little bit emotional, because we wouldn't be doing this without him. He's been our, we say the godfather for us for a while now. He is a guiding light for us, and he helps us out quite a bit. And I can't tell you how excited you would be to have good financing for your customers. Check out the team at J Money. Contact Joel or Katie or any of the guys on the team. They will absolutely get you the financing help if you're a contractor, if you're working on woodsheds or metal buildings, really anything in the home improvement space, roofing, flooring, anything at all, windows, doors. J Money and the team will get you taken care of. Eric, brother, it has been a little bit wacky, a little bit different. but it's still cool, right? So we've got you out and about. We are going to check out for this week of the Steel Kings podcast. I'm Jared. He's Eric, and we are the Steel Kings. Check us out next week and on replay. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Peace out.
Before you go, the J Money team wants to thank you for listening to today's Steel Kings podcast. Remember, money is king. If you need a financing option on your portable wood sheds or steel buildings, we are here to help. Just check out jmoneyllc.com for more information. Don't forget to catch the next episode. We'll still be here. Have a great day.